meet our crew. We have Admiral Matthew, along with Professor Joyce. Captain Stephanie leads the way, along with her crew, Chief Petty Officer Will, and Seaman Recruit Sam. And don't forget, Commander Morgan.
Ahoy, mini-mateys!
Welcome to Vacation Bible School Week 4.
So far, we've learned about how God promises us with Noah and the ark.
Then we learned about how God delivers us with Moses in the Red Sea.
And last week, we learned about how Jesus claims us with John the Baptist, Jesus, and his baptism.
This week, we're going to learn about how Jesus comforts us with Jesus and his disciples.
Whoa, Commander, what's going on?
Hang on, Alan.
Whoa!
I think we hit a storm.
Secure the ship! Whoa!
Hello there, buddy.
Hi, Pappy. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing okay, buddy. But I'm having a little trouble.
What's the matter, Pappy?
Well,
You can tell us. Trust us, Pappy.
I'm afraid of the dark, and it's been getting dark earlier now.
Oh, Pappy, being afraid of the dark is okay. Yeah, Pappy, I'm a little afraid of storms. It's okay, you two. There's nothing to be afraid of. As a matter of fact, buddy, why don't you go visit the Admiral? Okay, Spirit. What should I ask him about? Ask him about the time when the disciples were afraid. Okay, I'll be back to tell you all about it, Pappy.
Bye, buddy.
Admiral? Admiral? Where are you? Admiral, are you okay?
I am, buddy.
What happened?
Whew. There's a terrible storm brewing out there. I just got the SS Resurrection docked.
Oh boy, I'm afraid of storms.
Why are you afraid, buddy?
They're scary, Admiral. Actually, that's why I'm here. I'm here to ask you about when the disciples were afraid.
Oh, I got just the story for you, buddy.
Okay.
All right, buddy. So, on Sunday morning, we heard about the story of how Jesus fed the 5,000 men with just 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish, right?
Yeah, I remember on Sunday at church.
Yes, exactly. And so, Jesus did all of that, but he never had time to mourn the loss of his cousin and friend, John the Baptist.
Oh, that's so sad.
It is, but yet he took all of that emotion and pushed it to the side to take care of the people. But after the people left, he had to go up onto the mountain to take time to pray to God to mourn the loss of John the Baptist. And so that's what Jesus did. Jesus sent his disciples out into the Sea of Galilee on a boat, and then he went up onto the mountain to pray. Okay, and so we can see a picture of Jesus right here praying on the mountain, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and you can kind of see he can look out to the Sea of Galilee there. And so while Jesus was praying, a storm began to brew. You know how a storm begins to brew. We can kind of hear thunder off in the distance, and then it gets closer and closer, right?
I'm afraid of storms.
You're afraid of storms? Why are you afraid of storms?
They're loud and scary.
They're loud and scary. So it's the thunder and lightning then, right?
Yeah.
What about the wind?
That's not very nice either.
That's not very nice either. Okay, well, so that's what the disciples were experiencing. They were experiencing a storm. The thunder was thundering, the lightning was striking, and the wind was gushing around. And here they were in this little boat, and they were swaying back and forth and back and forth. The water was crashing up against them. Water was flinging everywhere. They were so afraid. They didn't know what was going to happen. They were afraid they were going to sink.
It sounds terrible.
Does it?
It does.
Okay, so they're afraid. Here they are, all afraid. The boat is going crazy. But then they look out into the rushing waves and they see somebody walking.
Who is it? Who is it?
They see Jesus, or who they think might be Jesus, but actually they think it's a ghost.
Oh.
And so they're afraid of the ghost and of the waves and everything. But then Jesus says, do not be afraid, it is I. It is I, do not be afraid. Okay, but then they said, well, they still didn't believe that that was truly Jesus. Even though Jesus says, do not be afraid, it is I, they were still afraid. They thought for sure that Jesus was a ghost. And so Peter, good old Peter, says, well, Lord, if it is you, tell me to come out into the water and to walk towards you. And what did Jesus say? Can you guess, buddy?
He told him to come.
Yes, he did. He told him to come. And now, do you think Peter's is he gonna succeed at walking on water, or is he gonna fall? Sink.
I think he'll sink.
Do you ever see any? Have you walked on water?
No, I swim.
You swim, right?
Yeah.
Have you seen any other humans walking on water before?
No.
No. So we would think Peter would sink then, right?
Yeah.
Well, guess what?
What?
Peter took his first foot out on the boat and set it down on the water, and he didn't sink. He took his other foot out and he didn't sink. He was standing on the water. He was focused solely on Jesus. And as he was walking, he wasn't sinking. But then guess what happened?
What?
The lightning struck, the waves crashed, the wind was howling, and he was focused on the waves, and he began to sink. And if you were to start sinking, what would you do, buddy?
Mommy!
Mommy, right? Calling out to Mama Otter?
Yeah.
Well, Peter called out, Lord, save me, save me. And Jesus reached out his hand and pulled Peter back up to safety.
Good.
He pulled Peter back up to safety, and Jesus then calmed the storm, and they began to worship him. And so in this, the disciples were terrified. They were afraid. But through it, we hear that God comforts us, that he comforts us. That's why our symbol is this week, buddy. Have you ever gotten a pat on the back?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And is it comforting when you get a pat on the back?
It is.
And so God comforts us because through the storm, in their fear, Jesus comforted them. Jesus helped them. Right?
Yeah. That was a great story.
Well, I thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Now I want you to come back next week. I've got a really good story next week, okay?
Okay.
All right?
All right. Bye, Admiral.
Bye, buddy.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, buddy. How was the Admirals?
It was great, Peppy. I learned a wonderful story about how Jesus comforts us.
Oh, yeah? Jesus does comfort us. Did it help with your fears of storms?
It did, Pappy. I'm so happy I could sing.
Okay, it goes like this. You ready?
Yeah. Jesus loves me. This I know. For the Bible tells
There we go.
me so.
Oh my gosh.
What?
Mom,
What?
it's-
What?
I gotta go. I gotta run to craft time.
Oh no! Bye.
Wow, buddy. What's that?
I'm Commander Morgan. It's a boat and it floats, see? That's really cool, buddy. Oh no.
What was that, buddy?
It was my belly. I'm hungry.
Well, why don't you go and visit Captain Stephanie and her crew? I'm sure they'll have some food for you.
Okay.
Well, what you got there, Commander?
Well, this is, see, you always get to eat the snack.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided this week I got to eat the snack.
Oh. Well, is it good? Are you offering me a bite? Are you going to be nice? Because that'll really hurt if you try and put it in my face.
I guess.
Mmm.
See, it's good. It's good apple. You know what? Let's go see what Professor Joyce is up to.
Oh, okay. Let's go see what she's doing.
Hi, boys and girls. Well, remember last week we started our walking rainbow experiment to see how this was going to work. When we put everything in water in each one of the jars, oh, we have a problem here because the color went up and then stopped. So we have, we didn't have quite have the walking rainbow like we thought we were going to have. But when we put an empty jar in between, then look, all the levels of the water came out the same, and we went from red to orange to yellow to green to blue to indigo and purple. So we did it. This was the way to make our walking rainbow, was when we had an empty jar in between, and it came up the paper towel, which was our wick, and went in and made all the water level. So that's what we needed to do. Well, boys and girls, we're going to do something new today too. I promised that some of you that I would make bath bombs, and that's what we're going to make today. Now, you will need mom or dad to help you with this, by all means. But they still are fun to make, and you can do a lot of stuff with this. So first of all, the recipe is on the web here. So we need 2 cups of baking soda, which you can get at the store. Then we need citric acid. We need a half a cup of citric acid. Now, citric acid is in with the canning things, and that's what you put in to help preserve when you're doing some canning. Then you have cornstarch, and you need 1 cup of cornstarch. So this is making a lot. And then you have coconut oil. Polysorbate 8. You have 80. You have to send for this. And so this is where mom and dad will certainly come in to help you with that. And SLSA, which is another item that you have to send for on the internet. And essential oil. So those are the things that we need. And we need some molds to make these. So we put the baking soda, the citric acid, the cornstarch, and we mix it all up in our mixing bowl. And make it nice and just mix it up. Then the coconut oil, though, you have to put in a microsafe bowl and put it in the microwave, and it melts. It's an oil, even though right now it's in solid form, but in the microwave then it becomes a liquid. And you pour that into the mix that you had with these items. You add then 1 tablespoon of polysorbate 80, and then you add about a half a cup of the SLSA. You can get away with not having the SLSA in there, but this is the really good, fun stuff because it helps with the bubbles at the end. And then if you want to smell really good, this is a great thing that you can make for mom sometime, because this would be a great gift for Mother's Day for her. And you can add essential oil. I chose lavender because it smells so good and makes you feel really good. But the thing we're going to learn today is what happens when we put it in water. We make these molds, you take it, and this is what it looks like. It kind of looks like wet sand that you're working with. And I use silicone molds. You can get other kind of molds. And you pack it in there. And you lay it in there, and then you let it dry. When you're done, you want to make sure that you put them in a jar that is airtight. So, now we have our silicone molds. We're going to see what happens to it. So now you remember the first day of VBS when we made the rocket out of vinegar and baking soda? Well, this is going to also be kind of like the same reaction. What you're doing, you have the acid from the citric acid and the base from your baking soda, and you're going to mix it together. But let's see how they're going to work today. I have a jar here of cold water, a jar here of warm water, and a jar here of hot water. And let's see what's going to happen. If I put my bath bomb into the cold water, well, it's fizzing and it's making some bubbles in there. That's pretty cool. And oh, it smells so good. Now let's see in the warm water. Oh, it's bubbling up more. It's reacting faster. So what will happen when I put it in the hot water? Whoa! 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 Oh, it's bubbling up. And because there's SLSA in there, that also, those bubbles are going to last, and it will give you a really nice bubble bath to play in. I don't know about you, but I really enjoy a nice bubble bath, and especially with one that smells so good. So this would make just a wonderful gift for Mom. I hope you have fun with it.
Sure is nice to sail when it's calm out, don't you think, Admiral?
It sure is, Commander. I'm glad that it calmed down, because before it was almost like the time when Jesus walked on water.
It really was, but just remember that Jesus comforts us in our times of need.
You know, he sure does. We can always go to Jesus in prayer, and he will comfort us.
He will. I sure hope Buddy felt the same way.
You know, why don't we go check on Buddy, because I hope he was comforted as well.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go.
Hey there, buddy.
Hi, Pappy. I've been so busy today, I haven't gotten to tell you about the Admiral's story. What all have you done today, buddy? Let's see. I went to the Admiral's, and then I went and sang, and then I made my craft. See it? With Commander Morgan. Is it that really cool ship? Do you see it? You see the cool ship?
Sounds really cool, buddy. What else did you do?
Well, oh yeah, then I was hungry since I'd done so many things. So I had snack time with Captain Stephanie and her crew, and then I went to Professor Joyce's for science time. Sounds like a good day, buddy. Oh, it was. Oh, Pappy, I need to tell you why you don't need to be afraid of the dark.
Yes, buddy, it's starting to get nighttime, and I'd like to hear the story.
So, the disciples were out on their boat, and they were afraid because there was a storm, just like how I'm afraid of storms. And then a figure appeared, and they thought it was a ghost. But it wasn't. It was Jesus. And he was walking on the water. He told them not to be afraid. And then Peter walked out to him on the water. But Peter was afraid, and he started sinking. But Jesus rescued him, and he calmed the storm. So see, Pappy, with Jesus, there's nothing to be afraid of.
Thanks, buddy. Next time I'm afraid of the dark, I'll pray to Jesus for comfort.
Yes, Pappy, because Jesus comforts us. Speaking of the dark, Pappy, it looks like it's getting time for Buddy to get home. It's getting dark out.
Yes, it is, Spirit. Good night, buddy.
Good night, Pappy. Good night, Spirit. Good night.